Today we are doing a battle of the $1,000 mini drones. We have the DJI Mini 3 Pro on one side, and on the other side we have the Autel Nano Plus. We're going to look at specs comparison, pricing, thrust testing, and then obviously some photos and video comparison. So let's get to it. Now, before we get started, I want to give you a warning. We did pay for the Nano Plus out of our own money. This is a drone that we've had for a while. We've been testing it, and then we received this drone as a loaner from DJI. So I wanted to get that out of the way and make sure that this is clear. Obviously, none of this is going to affect the information that we're going to provide because, well, the information we provide, we're going to share with you so you can look at the results and come up with your own conclusions. So let's talk about the features of these two drones. And on both sides, these are 249-gram drones. They are famous for this. These are the mini drones or the smaller drones. The flight time, we have 28 minutes on the Nano Plus and we have 34 minutes advertised on the Mini 3 Pro. Now, I do have to say that there is also an extended battery that you can buy with this, a Plus battery, which is going to take you to 47 minutes on paper. Both of them have a 2.4, 5.8 gigahertz connection. Autel uses their own proprietary technology, and then DJI uses the OcuSync 3.0. In terms of speed, the Mini 3 is pretty fast at 36 miles per hour, but really close to the 33.5 miles per hour advertised for the Nano Plus. And then in terms of sensors, we have front sensors right here and rear sensors, and we have the same thing here in the Nano Plus. Front sensors, except the back sensors are located all the way in the back, as you would for a traditional drone. And then in terms of the battery, we started doing battery testing in flight time. We started at 98% with this battery, at 99% with this battery, and then we ended up with 26 minutes and 50 seconds here, which is 87% of the advertised time of 31 minutes of hover time. Okay, they have a hover time, so we compared it to that because that's how we tested. And then here we did 22:26, which is 86% of the 26-minute flight time. So 87, 86%, those are pretty close. Now, obviously, we have to mention that we do this at high altitude, so you are going to get much better results if you test this on your own side. And obviously, if you don't do it hovering, if you actually test by flying forward, you'll get even more flight time. We do this in a controlled environment with controlled temperature, controlled pressure, and everything, and we make sure that we record all of that data. As far as the noise, when we did the testing, we found that both of them are at 70 decibels. They're very quiet drones on both sides, so there's not much to say on that side. The Mini 3 Pro sounds a little bit quieter because I think it has just bigger propellers, but I think it's fairly negligible in this case. Now, when it comes to the specs of these two drones, what we have is on the Nano Plus and the Mini 3 Pro, pretty much the same exact sensor. 1/1.28 inch as opposed to 1/1.3 inch. A CMOS sensor at 12 megapixels. Both of them have the ability to do JPEG and RAW. The aperture is almost the same, f1.9 versus f1.7. A little bit of difference in terms of the video. The Nano Plus can only do 100 megabit per second versus 150 for the Mini 3 Pro, and then the Nano Plus can only do 4K 30 and 2.7K 30 and 1080 60, when the Mini 3 Pro can do 4K 60, 2.7K 60 and 1080 120 frame per second. Both are pretty amazing, quite frankly, on such small drones, but that is quite a bit of a difference. Now, in terms of the different modes available for photo and video, you can do burst on both of them, you can do interval on both of them. AEB is almost the same, 3 and 5 auto bracketing for the Nano Plus, 3, 5, 7 for the Mini 3 Pro. And then in terms of smart photos, the quad buyer sensor, you can do 50 megabit per second versus 48 megabit per second. I don't know that the 2 megabit really make that much of a difference, but it could also be some more of a marketing thing for these companies. And in panoramas, they do somewhat the same, they just call them differently. Horizontal, vertical, wide, and sphere for the Autel, and then for DJI, it's the sphere, 180, the wide, and the vertical. And then we have a digital zoom for both of these, a 1:16x digital zoom on the Nano Plus. I think that's a little bit superior to the Mini 3 Pro, which does up to 4x at 1080, but only up to 2x at 4K, and then 3x at 2.7K. And then in terms of quick shots, I think they're pretty much the same with just different names, although the Autel side of things only has 4, so fadeaway, rocket, orbit, and flick, and then DJI has a couple more before with the drone helix, rocket, circle, boomerang, and then now the asteroid, which we didn't have in the mini drones in the past. And in flight modes are pretty much the same as well, with the smooth, DJI calls it Cine, standard for Autel, DJI calls it normal, and in sport for both of them, they both call it the same. So now the pricing is where things are really interesting. Like I said, these are $1,000 minis, except this will come as a base package for $949. Here, in comparison, if we want to compare apples to apples, it's going to be $759, so it's going to be $200 cheaper on the DJI Mini Pro. Why did I say apples to apples? Because this will come with a controller, which is right here. You can put your phone inside. This also has the ability to come with a controller where you can put your phone inside right here. So those are $949 and $759. You can also buy this drone even cheaper. If you already have a controller, this will cost $669. And if you want to buy it with this upgraded controller here that has a built-in screen, this is called a DJI RC, then it's going to cost you $909. So this drone, even with a fancier controller, is still cheaper than the Nano Plus. When we look at the FlyMore packages, the Nano Plus will cost you $1049. That includes 2 extra batteries right here. The equivalent with the DJI right here is going to be $949, so still cheaper by $100. This will give you 2 extra batteries, the smaller batteries, the 249-gram batteries, and then it will also give you the RCN1 traditional controller. If you wanted to spend more money, you could do that. You could go all the way until $1159 if you wanted to buy this with 2 extra large batteries and the smart controller. That would be about $100 more than what you would get here with simply 2 smaller batteries and no smart controller. So we think on this side, the DJI Mini Pro is priced a little bit better because it offers better options. We tested the thrust. Some people may be wondering why we test thrust. Well, we want to see how efficient these drones are and if they have the ability to lift anything. Now, obviously, these are not lifting drones, but it's always interesting to see how much thrust to weight ratio we have. The Mini 3 Pro was far superior in this case with a thrust ratio of 2.7 to 1 as opposed to 2.2 to 1 here. This lifted 420 grams. This only lifted 300 grams. We tested both of these at about 8,000 feet density altitudes. Something to be noted, you'll get different results when you do it, but we always test them pretty much at the same density altitude, so it's interesting to see the difference between the two. Now, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this presentation, which is the picture comparison. These drones can do 12 and 48 megapixels. We only tested 48 megapixels. If you're interested in 12, we can actually do another presentation, so let us know in the comments if you want to see the difference. But we thought because these have quad buyer sensors and the ability to do that we would put them to the test. And we use this chart. This is a chart that we put right here, actually right behind me. This cyclo, we have the ability to change colors and make it beautiful. But we try to do standardized testing. We do everything manually. We change the white balance. We take raw files when we have the ability to do raw files. I do have to say the Mini 3 Pro has the ability to do raw files at 48 megapixel. This does not. So when you see the photos here, they are only coming straight from the camera as JPEG. We use these photos here as raw, and then we treated them as a JPEG and then put them in comparison. So there's a bit of an advantage, but we wanted to make sure that we use that advantage because, well, it comes with the drone, so why not compare that? Here's the results. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you portions of our chart at ISO 100, 800, and 6400. I wanted to give you the whole gamut. Now, we took pictures for all of them, but I'm only going to show you these 3 different settings because I think they're pretty representative of how the sensor treats the image. This is information that you take as it comes, and we're not saying that one is better than the other. We're just going to say that we prefer one look or the other. You may prefer the other look, and that's fine. You know, if you have a Mini 2, if you have a Mini 3, if you have a Nano Plus, whatever it is, if this works for you, then it works for you. We're just giving you some information so you can compare the two in case you don't have either drone and you want to make a decision as to which one looks best for you. So on the right side, we're going to have the Mini 3. On the left side, we'll have the Nano. And the first thing that we see immediately is the difference in how the sensors are going to produce the image. And what we notice is that overall, in general, the Nano Plus is a lot softer and the Mini 3 Pro is a lot sharper, but to the detriment of having a lot more noise. So it depends on what you want to do. If you want a softer image and you're okay with that, it's going to have a lot less noise on the Nano Plus at all settings. This is ISO 100, this is 800 right here, and this is 6400. Now, what you notice on both of these sensors, the torture point is at the bottom of that image right here. And this is pretty zoomed in, by the way. But we found that this little area here creates some purple artifacts. And this is something that's always interesting to us. We've seen this with other drones as well, but especially with these smaller sensors here. And so, like I said, you pick whatever works best for you here. It's hard to come up with a conclusion because one is obviously soft and the other one is obviously noisy. So it's really up to, well, what is your favorite thing? Let's look at a different area here. We have the Nano Plus again on the left and then the Mini 3. And again, you can see a difference in noise and you can see a difference in sharpness between the two. As we go to 800, it's even more pronounced, and then at 6400. So like I said, you pick whatever works best for you. We'll put a link down in the description so you can pick and download these images and then see for yourself. You'll have the full-size image that we took these images from. And then here we have our grassy area. It's also interesting to see the details in the grass, and you can see again 100, 800, and then 6400, and the difference between all three of these. Again, very different processing on the details. And then here, this to me was, this is another torture test area. We put the Mini 3 Pro on the top and the Nano Plus at the bottom. The Mini 3 Pro has been amazing at showing us the detail of these lines on the top right of the image. The Nano Plus, not so much. It's really more of a smooth treatment of the image, and these lines completely disappear and just become a blotch of gray, if you want. And then it's pretty obvious at 800 and even more at 6400. So you can see the difference really between how the sensors are treating the images. Here again, at ISO 100, you can see the Nano Plus is on top now this time. I know we changed things around, but Nano Plus on top and the Mini 3 at the bottom. And quite frankly, here, I have to say at ISO 100, right in the center of the image, the Nano Plus looks better to me than the Mini 3. Just it's a little bit smoother and still fairly sharp. But then as we go up, you can see again, the noise is increasing on the Mini 3 quite a bit. And then on the Nano Plus, it just becomes a little bit softer. So we thought this was interesting. This is another great torture area here. This text is fairly small in the bottom left corner of the chart. And you can see, again, the detail, how we lose detail, how we increase noise on one side and then the other. And obviously ISO 6400 is the very end of the sensor. So it's never going to be good, but it's interesting, I think, to look at that high to see really what the sensor does. And then here's the last portion right here. What I found interesting here were the little dots, the blue dots that get smaller and smaller. The Nano Plus, what it tends to do with higher ISO is it's deformed. You can see those little dots are no longer dots. They look like different shapes. What the Mini 3 does, it increases the noise, but the shape in itself tends to remain more round, I think, in this case. So, like I said, you make your own decision on these pictures. We try to make them as comparable as we can, and it's really a matter of what you prefer, all right? Now, I do need to mention this because I noticed on the Autel Nano Plus, as I was reviewing the footage, I noticed that something happens at ISO 200, and maybe you'll have an answer. I don't have an answer as to why this happened, but I thought I would mention it because here's the Nano Plus, the same exact image at 100, 200, and 400. All right. Now what happens at 100, it's pretty sharp. And all of a sudden, this becomes, well, not so sharp at 200, but it's sharp again at 400. Or you're going to say, Greg, maybe your image at 200 was out of focus. Well, no, actually. We checked other areas and look at this. This is the CY and the cyan, yellow, and magenta section of our chart. And you can see now at 200, it's sharp. It's the same exact image that we had before, just a different area of the chart. And now it's no longer sharp at 100 or at 400, but it is sharp at 200. So now 200 wins. Let's go to the next one. Look at the grass right here. And it's also pretty obvious that there's a change between the two. Now this is on the top left portion of our chart, and there's a big difference. And then here again, ISO 200, we start to see details in those lines, but at 100 and 400, we don't. So ISO 200 wins again here, but yet we go to this section and it's less obvious, but if you look at the letters at the bottom, the inverted S, it is softer. it's softer at 200, but it's sharper at 1 and 4. I don't know what's going on, but there's a big difference between these. And then here again, you can see a big difference in sharpness. This is actually the most obvious right here, where the letters were completely messed up. This is on the bottom left corner of the chart. Completely messed up at 200, but not at 1 and 4. So I don't know. We just updated the drone a couple days ago, so it's not really an update thing. This is the latest software. There is something going on with the treatment at 200. So you make of this whatever you want. We thought we would mention it. It's not really comparative with the Mini 3. We did not see any of this major differences with the Mini 3 at any ISO, so I thought I would say it. Then the next thing is a video comparison of the two drones. We weren't able to put the Nano Plus on Octozilla, which is our drone carrier, in order to compare footage to footage with this drone. Unfortunately, the gimbal in here, if the drone is not flying, the gimbal is just very loose and it just doesn't stabilize. Now, I'm not going to ding them for this. It's probably just a different way of stabilizing their gimbal. It's definitely not what this is designed to do. We're tricking the drones in a sense, but we weren't able to carry them at the same time to get comparative footage. So the footage you see here was taken at 2 different flights on the same day though. And then it's interesting because at full scale, the Nano Plus looks a tad bit sharper. If you look closely, maybe with YouTube it's going to be very different to see the difference, but when we look at the full image, the full quality file, it is a little bit sharper on the Nano Plus, everywhere, on the trees, and the colors are obviously different, but we know that. We know that DJI and Autel does things differently. Even here, the left side is a little bit sharper, we think, and then same here, it's a little bit sharper on the Nano Plus side. But what I found interesting is that when we start to zoom in at 4x, we took both of these footage and we started to zoom in at 4x. What I found is that the Nano Plus creates a lot of what I would call vectoring. It almost looks like they're trying to make it look like a comic book. And if you pause for a second, if you look in detail, you will see that there are some shapes that appear on the left side that don't look natural, especially in the rocks in some areas. Not so much in this footage right here, but especially when we look at rocks and trees, we had a lot of what I would call artifacts that look a lot less natural. Now, obviously this is zoomed in at 4 times, and I think the footage still looks great, but I think when we zoom in quite a bit, I think the the Mini 3 start to look a little bit better. So I'm gonna let you decide. Again, this is really whatever you prefer. We do these comparative tests because we want you to make a decision as to which drone you think is better. That's it. That's all we have for you. As always, like, subscribe. If you want us to test the Mini 3 against any other drones, let us know. We've tested it against the Mini 2, against the Air 2S, and then now the Nano Plus. And we'll be doing more of these, so make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next video.